we come together to seek God, trusting that God is seeking us with open arms. All are welcome here. No matter our doubts or questions, where we come from, or who we love, even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God. All are welcome here. We believe that everyone is a child of God. Every age, race, gender, identity, and creed. All are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth. All are welcome here. We affirm that God is a good God who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all. So we choose to have open hearts, open minds, and open doors to God and to each other. All are welcome here.
Hello, and welcome to this gathering of Open. We're so glad to be joining with you today. You are welcome here. I'm Pastor Jonathan Perry, and this is Open, coming safely today from Open and from our homes to join with you in your home where you are. It means so much to us right now to be able to connect in community with you in this way. So you are welcome here. Today, amidst everything from our homes and our lives and our stories, we come together to seek God and to seek to follow God in our world in this time. And so we come seeking to listen and learn together from each other and from the heart of God, joining in this loving work of the God of justice, joy, and peace. So to center our hearts around that today, we've got some friends who are going to lead us in our liturgy this morning. They'll be leading us in words that are simple, but they're profound. That whoever you are, wherever you find yourself today, in the heart of God, in the love of this community, all are welcome here. Friends, let's lift this up together.
We come together to seek God, trusting that God is seeking us with open arms. All are welcome here.
No matter our doubts or questions,
where we come from or who we love,
even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God.
all
are welcome here.
We believe that everyone is a child of God. Every age, race, gender, identity, and creed, all are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth. All are welcome here.
We affirm that God is a good God, who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all.
So we choose to have open hearts, open minds,
and open doors to God and to each other.
All are welcome here.
Good morning and welcome to Open Worship. We are so glad that you are gathered with us here today. At this time, we'd like to invite you to hop on over to opendtx.com/sign in and let us know that you're here with us this morning. That just helps us get a clearer picture of who all is gathered with us today. And also at this time, we want to invite you to greet each other in the comments and to let each other know that all are welcome here. Hey friends, my name is Crystal, and with me today I have my friends Dave and Kelly and Brandon and Clay, and we are your worship leaders this morning. We just want you to know that whoever you are, whatever your story or identity is, God's love is here for you, and so are we. And so if you would, let's continue to worship together this morning. Friends, we're about to sing a song together that we wrote in this community, and it is called Fragrant. And the best line in this song is where we sing together, "May we bring your peace into the places that we are most afraid to go." And we know that is so relevant right now. And also during this time, we want to do something a little different this morning and invite you to leave your prayer requests in the comments as we sing this song together. We want to lift those up as a community and pray together this morning. So if you would, let's sing along together and write those prayers in the comments.
Be an offering that's pleasing to your heart. Let us sing a song that'll reach your ears and carry us where we belong. Lead us, empower us, and bring us home to you. Give us Jesus' heart and bring us home to you.
May we hear your call to follow you and tell of your great love.
And may we bring your peace
Into the places we are most afraid to go.
lead us,
Empower us and bring us home to you.
give us
Jesus' heart and bring us home.
Let our offering rise to meet you. Sweet and fragrant, we will rise to meet you. Let our offering rise to meet you. Sweet and fragrant, we will rise to meet you. Let our offering rise to meet you. Your beloved creation. Oh,
Lead us, empower us, and bring us home to you. Give us Jesus' heart
Hi, friends. It's great to be with you today. So here's a small question. What is important in life? And I know this is supposed to be a relaxing Sunday, and here we come out of the gate with this huge life question. What is important in life? I apologize. But I've been thinking about this a lot. In this unprecedented season, when for all of us, to quote the great Fresh Prince, life's been flip-turned upside down. In these flip-turn times, we can wonder where our grounding is, where up and down is, what is truly important in life. And maybe we're finding in this season that what's important to us is life and health and relationships, enough resources to make it through, a life centered on seeking justice and equity and caring for each other in this journey. All of those are important things. Around my house, we've been working from home a little more and trying to keep up with schooling kids. And so what's important is stable internet and noise-canceling headphones and a lot of resiliency and grace and forgiveness. And that's just from the kids toward me. Whatever your situation is, in this flip-turn reality, we're all learning to look differently at what's important. And we're learning to look for those important things in the midst of this everyday life. So over the last few weeks, we've been looking at Jesus' stories about finding life in the midst of real life. These metaphorical stories that Jesus told, called parables, rooted in the soil and situations of daily life, they can help us notice the important things right here in this place, in all its thisiness and placiness, inviting us to notice, even to seek the heart of God in the important things of life here and now, whatever and wherever that here and now is for you. The parable we're looking at today invites us to do just that, to ask the question, what is important, and to consider what we might do to seek it out here. And the good news is that we can. You don't have to move in with your auntie and your uncle in Bel Air to seek it. You can do it in the midst of your life, here and now. So we find this parable story in a book we call Matthew, 13th chapter. Jesus is talking with his friends and the crowds who are gathered, telling a series of parables to describe how God is at work in the world. And some of these we've talked about recently if you've been around. The parable of the sower, the parable of the mustard seed. These parables and many others teach us much about what is important and give us insight on life and love and everything. And in them, we can catch glimpses of what truly matters. But when we catch those glimpses, what will we do then? Well, Jesus tells this short story that might point us in the right direction. We find it in Matthew chapter 13, verse 44. Here's how it goes. Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven, which was Jesus' shorthand for what God is up to in the world, the heaven life intersecting the human life, the important stuff. The kingdom of heaven, Jesus says, is like a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. And then in their joy, they go and sell all that they have and buy that field. The end. This short, enigmatic, powerful parable, Jesus is telling a story about someone who found what matters in life. The intersection of the sacred and the soil in this life, it's like a treasure hidden in a field. And they focused all they had to lay claim to it. Back then, it wasn't uncommon to bury valuable things. There were no ATMs, and so instead of a PIN number, you just carried around a pickaxe with you wherever you went. But I love that picture of this true life, the important things, being like a treasure buried in a field, because it suggests that something of tremendous worth can be present right beneath our feet, right here among us in the soil of life. We might have been so busy that we walked right past it, but in the midst of this life, the very heart and presence of God is present with us, even if we can't perceive it. It's there beneath us and among us and with us. And if we stop for a moment and look down deep, just beneath the surface, we just might find it in the soil of life. But even when we don't, it's still there. In life right now, even now, in amidst the difficult and disruption, there is this deep treasured life to be found, present with us, even if we don't perceive it right away. Treasured life right here in real life. So this guy named Paul, who came along after Jesus, was trying to explain to some of the new Jesus followers what that new treasured life looks like, what the important things were. And he writes this using that same Jesus kingdom shorthand. Paul says this, the kingdom of God is not food and drink. It's not those surface level things. You have to dig a little deeper. Instead, it is justice and joy and peace. And that's how we can recognize the treasure when we see it. Life with God and our neighbor and ourselves that's marked by justice and joy and peace. And so look at those three words. Justice means fair distribution of good things to all. Justice is one of the central things that God is working for in our world and calls us to be at work for as well. Even more in Greek, dikaiosune, justice, also carries this sense of right relationships with each other. The treasured life is marked by just and right relationships with those we love, those we share this life with ourselves and with the God that connects us all. Right relationships. The second word, joy, is a word that points us to something deeper than momentary happiness. It's about the experience of gladness, the experience of gratitude that we talked about last week. It's this deep, abiding trust. Not that everything is all good, but that even amidst all things not being good, perhaps, that there is still good in this world. And the third word, peace, is connected to this beautiful Jewish concept of shalom, universal, holistic flourishing, the kind of life where we and those around us are flourishing as we are in all we are, justice and joy and peace, flourishing with each other, with ourselves, and flourishing with the God who loves you and is right here with us. Amidst everything else in life, these are the important things, the treasured life. And so no matter where we stand, those things are there beneath our feet in the soil of this life, inviting us to dig in. But on that dig, we don't get a treasure map. These days, any map we have looks a little bit more like an M.C. Escher painting, right? But Jesus invites us still to dig in. In the parable he tells, once the person found what was important in life, they sold out everything to lay claim to it. Justice in our world, right relationships with each other, abiding joy and gratitude in life, and flourishing in all we are, these are important things worth giving all to find, Jesus says. And so how do we do that? So I want to offer you three things that we can do, even in this flip turn upside down moment in life right now. The first thing is this: do it. As the great theologian and scholar Howard Thurman said, ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because the world needs people who have come alive. And as I read that, that fires me up. It makes me want to go climb a mountain, or at least watch a documentary about someone else climbing a mountain. But so often, what makes life is not just the monumental mountaintop moments, but all the little moments of life that we meet along the way. If it's justice and right relationships, joy and peace that we are seeking, then find a moment each day, even a small one, to do it. To listen or learn or act for justice. In your relationships, to do something each day to bring life to relationships with your partner, your kid, or your friend. And do something each day to find joy and gratitude, to find good even amidst all that might not be right now. Do something that brings you life, helps you flourish. Life and all the important things that help us come alive are so often made of these little moments. As the great writer Annie Dillard writes, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. And so take it a day at a time, and you just might find a life along the way. The second thing is this: as you do it, remember that you do not do it alone. You don't have to do it all. Here's what I mean. When you dig in to find that life treasure, it's not this treasure that you had to muster and put there. It's the treasure of the life of God at work in us and through us and around us and for us and before us. And when we dig in, we're joining with those deepest forces in the universe that are empowering us with a power we don't have to muster up on our own, which is so important because some days we can't even muster our way out of our pajamas. And on those days, lean into the fact that you are loved. And sometimes the best thing we can be doing is just being. Letting ourselves be loved and learning the important lesson that what is important does not depend on us alone, our own capacity, but on the capacity of the God whose love wins. The public theologian Sarah Bessey writes this: I don't know that we're doing folks any favors if we act like when we follow Jesus, all we do is win. I think it's okay to say that we mess up, we let people down, that we overpromise and underdeliver, that we go to therapy, that we take our meds, that we go for walks in order to remember everything good and true that we're still in the midst of figuring out where God is in the middle of all of this, and that we're learning our capacity and the capacity of God's goodness the real way by living our lives and experiencing both the victories and the sorrows in the midst of it all. In fact, it is through the journey that we learn just how capable the God of love is. And so in those moments when our capacity seems spent, maybe give yourself permission to lean on the God who is with you, to know that there's a God of goodness and love whose capacity for patience and love and steadfastness and goodness and loving our neighbors and keeping on going and holding it all together far exceeds our own. So when we can't hold it all, sometimes we can just let ourselves be held by the God who holds it all. And discovering that the real way is discovering a treasure. That's the second thing. And the third is this: keep going. Keep going. In this flip-turned world, sometimes we need to pause a little while to catch our breath. Do that. But when you're ready, put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Because we need you. God needs you. You are a priceless treasure. Keep going in yourself. Keep going in your work. Keep going in the empowering life of God in whose love you are kept and you are held. So last week, as we gathered together, before our 11 a.m. gathering, our country observed the final bridge crossing of a person who epitomized that call to keep going. The great, courageous, moral leader, justice seeker, and good troublemaker, John Lewis. John Lewis embodied all of these important treasured things that we've talked about. He was a man who was just doing the right thing, but also one who knew that he did not do it and could not do it alone. But above all, he kept on going no matter what for the long march. At age 20, he was a college student, and he became a leader in the civil rights movement. By 23, he was the youngest speaker at the 1963 March on Washington with Dr. King. At 25, he crossed Edmund Pettus Bridge in his home state of Alabama to face the brutality of the state police for the sake of justice and equality and peace for all. And still he kept going, dedicating his life to nonprofit work and community development, then public service, and to the causes that are deep, at the intersection of the sacred and the soil of this life, the treasure that is justice, joy, and peace in our world. And he kept going, and he kept working for the sacred worth of all people. In 1996, he delivered an impassioned speech to Congress for the sake of marriage equality and LGBTQ rights when few else were speaking up. At 73, he was arrested protesting for immigration reform, and at 76, he organized a congressional sit-in to end gun violence. Throughout his life, he kept going, kept doing, but kept the perspective that he was not in this journey alone. He said that whenever he feels himself getting bitter, getting tired, this is what he does. I pray over and over again and just self-listen. I say, do what you can and play the role you can play. That's what God calls us to do, what we can. In our homes, our lives, our work, our relationships, in our work for justice, in our workplaces, in our work for all people in our classrooms and neighborhoods, do what you can. Because when you do that, you are joining with the God who can do far more than what we hope or imagine. John Lewis knew that, and so he could write these words for us all. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. The important things in life are worth it. They are treasures worth each day we have, worth all that we have. And just like the presence of God, they are right here in the soil beneath our feet always, with us even as we walk through this life. So empowered by God, friends, with each day that we have, may we dig in so that uncovering the treasure becomes the work of our lives. Keep going, friends, with whatever steps you can take. Take a breath when you need, and then put one foot in front of another. You can do it because you do not do it alone. We are with you and so many more, but most importantly, the God of justice and joy and peace is with you and in you and for you and before you and right here beneath your feet. May we find a little of that treasure as we go, friends. Amen. So as we continue in worship, the song that we're about to sing invites us to a place of commitment. It's taken from the liturgy that we speak in this community together. It invites us to choose to be a people of love in our world, in our lives, in all that we are. May we choose love, but may we also know that same love chooses you. You are empowered by the God who loves you, who's with you in this life, in this work, and in this world. And learning that, embracing that, is the treasure. So let's lift this up, and as we do, let's renew our commitment to choose the treasured life and the love of God.
Covered in your love, and I believe you love each of us. You are open to all. You are open to all.
Hello, I'm David Finley, the Associate Pastor working with youth and their families. I'm glad to be with you today. When I read this parable, it raises questions to me about value and choice. But the guy in the parable is not so much leaving all he has, is that he's embracing something new, something better that's in front of him. It's not so much about moving away from something as it is about going to something. So keeping that in mind, let us respond to what we've heard today in prayer. Dear God, you want us to choose the good, to spend ourselves in what matters most, to invest in what makes us whole and the world around us whole. Let us focus on the joy that comes from moving closer to you. Knowing what we gain is far greater than what we give up. We ask this in the name of our teacher and our example, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Ben. And friends, thank you for being with us today, and thank you for choosing love and for keeping going, even in the midst of this journey. If you're looking for a way to choose love in this time, we've compiled some opportunities for service through this community and other opportunities and organizations in our town. You can go to opendtx.com/serve, check them out, and let us know what you're interested in, and we'll get you connected there. Another great way to love in this season is through the great local organization, Denton County Friends of the Family. We're helping them collect on their school supply drive to support kids in our community as they approach the school year this fall. And your resources can help students and support families who need it. Just go to opendtx.com/give. You'll find an opportunity to give directly to that project by writing school supplies in the memo line of your donation. While you're there at opendtx.com/give, you can support this community and the ministry and work we're all doing together in the grace of God. Thank you for your generosity that helps create and sustain this community where all can truly find home and belong and keep going in the love of God. And finally, if you haven't had a chance as you're watching with us, let us know you're here at opendtx.com/sign-in. It helps us whenever you watch to get a good picture of this community and stay connected with each other. Thank you so much for signing in, for doing that. In all the ways that we are in this together, just know that we are so grateful for you and to the God who welcomes us all and sends us into the world with welcome, with the treasured life of love. And so as you go into the world, into your neighborhoods, or just into another room of your house, take these words of hope and benediction with you as you go until we meet again. Friends, as you go on your journey this week, know there is a treasure with you, right beneath your feet. May we do what we can, knowing that we do not do it alone, to seek the treasure of justice, joy, and peace, of right relationships with each other, with ourselves, and with the God of love. And in this journey, empowered by God, in the steps of John Lewis and many more in that great cloud of witnesses, may we keep going and keep choosing love. Beloved children of God, go in grace, go in peace, and go in love, always. Amen.